Alright, we'd like to make this disclaimer real quick that this video does show livestock processing and preserving. So if this is something that makes you uncomfortable or something you don't like or don't agree with, we do recommend that you stop the video and not continue to watch. But if this is something that does interest y'all, thank you for watching the video and we look forward to seeing y'all around the channel in the future.
Good morning y'all. So today is second chicken plucking day in 2 weeks. In a little bit you'll see clips from the first chicken plucking day. We had kind of our mentors teach us how to do it, and they had a chicken plucker and a whole nice setup, and you'll see that in a minute. But today we were blessed with some roosters that someone didn't need, so we are going to be plucking them. We're going to be processing them. It was 14 roosters, and
hand plucking, mind you.
Hand plucking, because we don't have a chicken plucker and we didn't want to ask to borrow it, which is totally fine. So we're going to practice hand plucking. My mom is going to come over soon and help us for a little bit. So you'll get to see clips from our first experience processing chickens ever, where we did have a chicken plucker, and then you'll see our experience today where we're hand plucking. So within 2 weeks we get to practice both chicken processing methods. So hopefully this don't take all day, because it's supposed to be like 100 degrees today. So we're just gonna get started, and first you'll see clips from the first chicken processing day, and then you'll see clips from today. So hopefully we learned how to do it by the end of the day, and can do it in the future pretty well.
This was the first day that we processed our own Cornish Cross meat birds with Miss G and Mr. D. Our first time processing birds ever. Their setup is they have the killing cones here, and then moving over to the left you see the big stock pot where we would dunk the birds to make them hot enough to remove the feathers. And then they would come over here to the chicken plucker, and it has water that sprays inside, and the bottom spins and it pretty much plucks it. And then they would come over here to where Mrs. G and I were pulling out their innards and all their guts and things. And then these buckets here are where the innards and the feet and the heads would go. Alright, this is the setup we have here. We got these at a local place that does store closeouts, and they sell all the industrial stuff. So we got those real cheap for like, I think $10 a piece to use as killing cones. And then Emmanuel will rig this up to collect all the blood, so we don't have just blood mess everywhere. And then we've got
our setup to dunk the roosters in, and then being that we don't have a chicken plucker, we'll come over here and we'll pluck them by hand this time. So this is our setup for today. We're getting an early start. It's probably about 7:20 right now. Get an early start before it gets way too hot.
As I said, we're very thankful to have been blessed with these 14 roosters that we did stash under Declan's trampoline just for a couple days until processing on Saturday. But after processing, we're going to go ahead and freeze them until I can take care of them at a later date. I want to go ahead and cook them up, debone them, can up the meat, and then use the bones to make more chicken stock and can that up as well. So, like I said, we're just very thankful to have been blessed with these roosters and this meat and this chicken stock that we can put up. Our first two birds this morning, we did make a mistake with. Mr. D told us that the temperature for the water for dunking should be 150 to 185 degrees, anywhere in between there, Fahrenheit. I think Emmanuel said at first this blackbird was being dunked at close to 200. So when I was plucking it, not only was I getting feathers, but some of the skin was coming off for this bird and the second bird as well. After that, we really paid attention to the water temperature and things went much more smoothly. I had gotten some rubber gloves from the gardening section at Walmart, and they turned out to be super helpful when hand plucking chickens. But something that we noticed, whether we had rubber gloves or not, was that the birds with the white feathers were easier to pluck than the birds with the black or the dark feathers. So even though we had gloves that tremendously helped, sometimes it was just harder to pluck those darker feathered birds. My mom has plucked chickens before, but she's never gutted them. So this is me showing my mom what Mrs. G had taught me. And now showing her what happens when you unfortunately bust the bile bag. It's not bad, it's just this green stuff that you have to wash off of everything. And we were saving the livers and hearts, so you just have to make sure it doesn't stay on anything. Alright, so Emmanuel just informed me that this whole leg just snapped in half with the wind, if you can see it. It had got bent up real bad during a vendor event in Branson, back when I used to sell vinyl work stuff and handmade stuff. It had bent up real bad, but we've had it for what, the last 2-3 years still bent up, and it just snapped? Yeah. So for, he said 35 or 75 bucks we can get a whole new leg. 35 bucks we can get a whole new leg. But this whole canopy is an amazing canopy. It's the Uramax brand. Another vendor event at our local farmers market, one of the vendors had one and they talked us into getting it, and it has been a really good investment. But unfortunately we just have to check with the company and get that replacement part. We've already looked into it. We can get that replacement part. It just costs money, but totally doable. This is a really nice canopy, and I like that we can get the replacement parts for it. But it sucks that it did just snap in half. Like just now, the wind caught it up and lifted it and snapped it. It didn't flip the canopy over, but the leg was pretty far gone already.
I found a rock.
You found a rock?
Yeah, I got this.
Oh, and you were spraying it with that?
Yep.
Well, that's a good find. Rocks are good finds. All right, you go ahead and spray off that table for me. Spray off all that stuff. Here, you come stand here and spray it off that way?
Yeah.
Do you need help with the hose? Yeah. Okay. There you go, baby. You're welcome. Get off all the stuff.
Did that?
Here, let's see. Maybe the jet will work better. Or the flat. Try the flat. There you go. Let's try the jet. Let's see. Alright, try that one. There you go. Hose off all that stuff for me. Good job. What? Okay.
The reason I know that is because it pulled away.
Did it pull it out?
said I had enough of this.
I'm pulling out, y'all. Hey, Bubba, you got some stuff over here. You gotta spray it off the other way. You're doing a good job. You gotta keep spraying.
I need help.
You need help. Okay. Here we're just packaging and freezing up our first batch of birds that we had processed that were our Cornish Cross meat birds. It took us a couple tries to figure out the shrink bags, and then after that we just froze them. So this did happen before we processed all those roosters that we were blessed with, but I just put it at the end of the video just because that's where I put it. Thank y'all for joining us as we learn how to grow and raise and process our own food. We look forward to seeing y'all around the channel in the future, and we pray that y'all have a great day. Bye.